Radhanath Swaminiti Namini Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Om Ajnanatthimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavan Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarvyas Kripa Sindhubhye Vachapatitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavedho Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Isvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Hare Krishna. By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished 28 slokas in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dhyana Yoga. So in Bhagavad Gita, we have 18 chapters. And based on Arjuna's questions, Krishna is teaching us all the knowledge, what we want, what we need. Because in this world, first of all, we don't even know who am I, who we are. We don't know. And then we are clueless about what is the purpose of this life, what is the goal of this life. And we simply live like any other animals, like basically take birth and get old and grow up and get old and then die. So this is a cycle: birth, old age, disease and death for the body. But without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we will not know about our own self. Even though theoretically we may feel that we are the soul, we talk about the soul, but we will think that we are the soul, all such things. But scientifically, we will not know anything. Only in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is very clearly teaching about ourself. So this Bhagavad Gita is the science about our own self. So in this knowledge, Krishna is teaching us that this is not the place for us to live. This material world is not the place for us to enjoy. Because anything which is made up of matter, anything which is made up of all the elements what we see in the periodic table, so that is going to be destroyed. That is going to be changing, all the time changing. We know that everything is bonds, chemical bonds. So the bonds are going to break. So when the bonds break, they will form new bonds and they will get broken, all such things. So our body is made up of so many chemicals, so many biomolecules with so much of bonds, energies, all such things, and which is always going to change, always changing. In our life, every day, our body is changing. The cells are changing. The cells are always dividing. So that is the science. Even with our modern science, we understand very clearly we are not the body. We understand very clearly that this body always changing. But we need to understand with the spiritual knowledge, with the Bhagavad Gita, we need to understand that since this material body is always changing, nasato vidyate bhavo, that means the one which is not real, the one that is the body, which is always changing, na bhavo, which is always changing. It has no permanent things. It has no endurance. So this body is always changing and we are not this body. So that is the point. It is a very, very important scientific understanding we need to get from this Bhagavad Gita. We are not this body, period. So we are not made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, nothing. The soul, Atma, is free from matter. The Atma is not made up of matter. That's why Krishna is teaching in the 2nd chapter there, Nainam Chintanti Sastrani. So this Atma, the soul, can never be cut into pieces by any weapon. Nainam chintanti sastrani. Nainam dagati pavaka. And it cannot be burned by fire. Nainam chintanti sastrani, nainam dagati pavaka. Nachainam kledayanti apo. And it cannot be dissolved in water. The soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon, and it cannot be burned by fire, and it cannot be dissolved in water. Nasochayati maruta. So also it cannot be dried by the wind. That's why Krishna is teaching us that Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo sosyayevacha nityaga sarvagataga stanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. So the soul is achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo asosya evacha. So that means it is achedyoyam, means it's unbreakable. Adahyoyam means it cannot be burned. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyoyam means it cannot be dissolved. Then asosya, it cannot be dried. So that is the soul. Nityaga sarvagataga stanuhu. Achaloyam sanatanaga. It's immovable. Nityaga, it is always there. Sarvagataga, it's pervading inside the body, everywhere. So that is our self. So we are not the body, we are the soul. But the problem is that we are forced to accept material body. We are forced to die. We are forced to leave this material body. We are forced to accept this material body, and we are forced to leave this material body. So that is what our real problem is. And while we are inside this material body, we are forced to act. So that means we are forced to suffer. So everywhere there is a force acting on us, like gravitational force, like electric force. So there are different forces, electromotive force, EMF. So like that, here the force is acting on the soul. So the soul is forced inside this body, forced to accept this material body. And the soul is forced to quit this material body, leave this material body. And the soul is forced to act in this material body and suffer in this material body. So we are suffering all the time. So that way, all the time we are forced. And why we are forced and what is forcing us, all these things, that's a very important question we need to understand. So from Bhagavad Gita, we understand very clearly that we are not the body, we are this soul. And we also understand very clearly, we are forced to accept material body, forced to take birth, forced to die. Jatasyagi dhruvo mrityugu dhruvam janma mritasya. So when a person is born, he is sure to die. Jatasyagi dhruvo mrityugu. When we are born, dhruva, it is sure that we will die. Jatasyagi dhruvo mrityugu. Similarly, dhruvam janma mritasya. So when we die, again we are going to take birth. So that's what we need to understand, that the birth is sure. Similarly, the death is sure. Similarly, the birth is also sure. So we are forced to struggle, forced to suffer in this material world. So that's what is the thing we need to understand from Bhagavad Gita. So in Bhagavad Gita only we understand this concept, this science very well. And then Krishna is teaching us that what is forcing us? What is forcing us to take this birth and suffer in this material world? So the three modes of material nature. Sattvam rajas tama yitigi gunaga prakriti sambhavaga nibandhanti mahabhavo dege deginam avyayam. So sattva guna, rajo guna and tamo guna, they are binding us in this material body. So that's what they are forcing us inside this material body. They are forcing us to suffer. They are forcing us to accept this material body. They are forcing us to suffer in this material body. So that force is always on us. So now how we can relieve ourselves from this force? How we can stop this force? So that's what in Bhagavad Gita Krishna is teaching us. How to get ourselves free from Maya. So that force is known as Maya. So Maya means the three modes of material nature is Maya. And Krishna is saying that Devigi Yesa Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. So the Maya is God, my Maya is divine in nature and it's very difficult to overcome. Devigi Yesa Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya Mamyeva Ye Prapatyante Mayam Yetam Tarantite. So only in order to get ourselves free from this force, free ourselves from this modes of material nature, we should ourselves connect with Krishna. We should understand that we are not the soul, we are the soul, we are not the body, we are the soul, and Krishna is the super soul. So Krishna is the super soul, and super soul and soul ourselves both are inside this body. So in this body, Krishna, many times in many slokas, Krishna is teaching us in Bhagavad Gita that he is also inside this body. Krishna is there everywhere inside this body. All bodies, Krishna is also there. So God is there in every body. So in everybody's body, God is there. Krishna is there. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is there in everybody's body. So Krishna is saying that Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridade Sarjunatist. So the Ishvara, the Supreme Controller, Krishna, is seated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya Chagam Hriti Sannivishte. So I am seated in everyone's heart. So Krishna is there. So in our body, ourself is there and Krishna is there. So all this knowledge we need to understand so that we will be able to connect with Krishna. When we realize this fact, when this soul connects with the super soul, that is Krishna, then we will be able to free ourselves from the force from Maya, the three modes of material nature. So that's why Krishna is saying that Mam yeva ye pravatyante mayam ye tam tarantite. Anyone surrenders unto me, anyone connects with me, anyone does devotional service unto me, so he will be able to free it from the three modes of material nature. Mayam ye tam tarantite. So that way, the only way we can free ourselves from the three modes of material nature is to connect ourselves with Krishna. So all these things are possible by gaining the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So to realizing, to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul, and to understand that we are forced to accept material body and suffer in this material world, and we are forced to leave this material body, we are forced to die, and we are forced by the three modes of material nature, Maya. So all this knowledge Krishna is teaching us, and Krishna is finally teaching us very clearly that we should connect ourselves with Krishna, then we will be able to free ourselves from the three modes of material nature. So that's what Krishna is saying, that Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Mam Chayo Vyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Sagunan Samatite Tan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So if anyone surrenders unto me, anyone does devotional service unto me without any deviation, so then we will be able to free ourselves. So that's why, how we can prove that we have surrendered unto Krishna? How we can prove that we are connected with Krishna? The only proof is that when we are acting without any attachment to the results, that means when we are not disturbed by the results, then we can prove that we are doing it for Krishna. Tasmat asaktaga satatam karyam karma karoti yaga asakto hi acharan karma paramapnoti purushaga. Tasmat asaktaga satatam. So one should, asaktaga means not attached. Satata means always. So one should not be attached all the time. Asaktaga satatam karyam karma karotyagam. So one who performs all the duty, all the activities without any attachment all the time. So then asaktohi acharan karma, when we perform our duty, when we perform our activities without any attachment, asaktohi acharan karma paramapnoti purushaga, we will attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So that's what Krishna is teaching us in this Bhagavad Gita. So now in the 6th chapter we studied, in the sloka what we studied yesterday, in the sloka number 28, Krishna taught us that Yunjanyevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaga sukhena brahma samsparsam atyantam sukham asnute. Yunjanyevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaga. So if we are able to control our mind, so that's the important thing what we are studying in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dhyana Yoga. So in order to free ourselves from this material world, in order to free ourselves from the three modes of material nature, so we should be connected with Krishna. That's what I was teaching until now, I was telling. So we have to be connected with Krishna. So how we can connect ourselves with Krishna? Only with the help of our mind. So only by thinking about Krishna. So that means only by controlling our mind. So then we will be able to connect ourselves with Krishna. So that's what the entire 6th chapter Krishna is teaching us about how to control the mind. So go to this secluded place and sit and make that place very clean, and then sit straight and don't look at any other directions, and simply chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and focus our mind on the transcendental sound vibration, and do this practice every day as an exercise for the mind. So wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, bring it back under the control of the self. So chant Hare Krishna and focus our mind on the transcendental sound vibration. So this process, if we do continuously, this exercise if we do every day, so then we will be able to control our mind. Then we will be able to free ourselves from this material world. So when a person reaches this situation, reaches this status, when a person is able to control the mind by always remembering, thinking about Krishna, so that means he will not have any attachment to anything in this material world. So he will be completely attached to Krishna. So that means he will not have any desire to enjoy the material sense objects. So we will not be after the material sense objects. We won't work very hard. We won't try to like waste this life by simply going after material things, material sense objects. So we will be doing everything in relationship with Krishna. So at that point of time, so since we are completely under the care of Krishna, and Krishna is going to give us all our needs, Krishna is going to satisfy, Krishna is going to take care of us very, very well. So then, since we become selfless, so we will not be selfish at all. So we will be, at that point of time, we should be able to serve everybody else. So since we are not anymore selfish, so we won't be fighting for the sense objects, and we will fully depend on Krishna. So at that time, we will be able to see every individual as our own being in this material world. Every soul in this material world, like us, have taken material body, forced to accept material body and suffering. Every individual, including all animals and all species, all aquatic species, animals, anything, whatever you take, all birds, everything, all kinds of species, every species, everyone is forced to accept different types of material bodies and forced to suffer in this material world. So when we are able to see each and every individual as the soul, then we should be able to see everyone equally. So that's what Krishna is teaching us in this sloka today. In this sloka number 29, Krishna is teaching that Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshinaha. So Krishna is saying that Sarva Bhutastam Atman means one who sees me in every being. That's what Sarva Bhutastam Atman. One who sees me in every being. Sarva Bhutastam Atman. Sarva Bhutani Cha Atmani. One who sees every being in me. So one who sees me in every being. One who sees every being in me. That's what Sarva Bhutastam Atman. Sarva Bhutani Cha Atmani. Because Krishna is there in everyone's heart. Krishna is there in all bodies. That's what Krishna, Isvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridade Sarjuna Tisadi. That same Sarva Bhuta. Here also Krishna is saying that Sarva Bhutastam Atman. So Krishna is saying that Isvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridade Sarjuna Tisadi. So Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna is there in every body. Everybody's body. So one who is able to see that Krishna is there in everyone's body, and everyone is inside, everyone is Krishna. So Krishna is saying that Mayatakam Nidam Sarvam Jagadavyaktam Murtha. This entire world, entire universe is pervaded by me in my unmanifested form. So one who sees every being in Krishna, one who sees Krishna in every being. So Ikshate means one who sees. One who sees Yoga Yukta Atma. So he is the person who is connected with Krishna, Yoga Yukta Atma. So Sarvatra Samadarsha. Then you will see everyone equally, everywhere equally. So that's what happens when we are able to control the mind. We already studied in the 6th chapter in the beginning. Krishna taught us that, I believe in the 8th sloka. Krishna taught us that, 8th or 9th sloka. Suranmitrari udasina madhyastha dvesya bandhusu sadhusvapicha papesu samabuddhiki visisyate. So Sugrun means well-wisher, Mitra, friend. Ari, enemy. Surun Mitrari Udasina, neutrals, Udasina, Madhyastha, mediators, Dvesya, those who, our enemies, Dvesya, Bandhusu, our friends. So everyone, Sadhu Swapicha Papesu, Sadhus, the saintly people, and Papesu, the sinful people. So one who sees Surun Mitrari Udasina, Madhyastha Dvesya Bandhusu, Sadhu Swapicha Papesu, Samabuddhi Visisyade. So Samabuddhi Visishyade. So the same thing Krishna is teaching here in the 6th chapter 29th sloka, that Sarvatra Samadarshina. So Samabuddhi Visishyade means Sarvatra Samadarshina. So when we are able to control our mind, so we will become indifferent to everyone. We will be able to treat everyone equally. So that's what we need to understand from this Bhagavad Gita. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished this sloka number 29 today. Hare Krishna. We will discuss if any questions are there.